Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. And we're continuing here in the grounds of the palace at Armagh City. And where we are now is we're actually at the Franciscan Friary. Now, this was founded around 1263-1264 AD by Archbishop Patrick ONeil. I hope I've pronounced that right. And it's actually the longest monastery on the island of Ireland. And if you remember, I've done another wee video where I showed you the smallest monastery, and of course that was Inch Abbey. I'm only joking, of course, but no, this is the longest monastery on the island of Ireland. So there you go, and quite a bit of history here. The Franciscans played an important role in the religious life of the city here in Armagh, up until the Friary was suppressed in 1542 during the dissolution of the monasteries by King Henry VIII in, as I say, 1542. And they're doing a bit of work here, you can see. So they are. Because if these things aren't maintained, they'll just collapse into nothing eventually. And there's not a big lot of this one left. But at least we'll have some arches still, which is good. Now, the Friary's buildings were in ruins in the 1600s, so even back in the 1600s, they were in ruins. So, it's not just happened lately, this, but from the year 1600, they were actually a ruin, unfortunately. Now, the Archbishop of Armagh was Richard FitzRalph, and he didn't like the Franciscans for whatever reason, because he commenced a harsh campaign against all Franciscans, all the friars on the island of Ireland in 1357. Again, you can see an wee bit of working onto that section there. And the Armagh Franciscans, they appealed to the Holy See and the Pope in order to defend themselves against the bishop. Now, Archbishop Richard FitzRalph was summoned eventually to Avignon in France, because remember the papacy, actually there was actually 3 papacies at one time, but there was also 2 at one time, one in Rome and another pope in France in Avignon. But so he was summoned to see the Pope in Avignon to discuss the matter with Pope Innocent VI, and the bishop died there 3 years later. Now, the Friary suffered an attack in 1433 by the Odonals in their war against the O'Neills. I wonder what's in there. I'm a bit nosy, ain't I? No. And the Friary was also used as an army barracks, because the reason how we know that is because in October 1551, the Marshal Nicholas Bagnall of Bagnall's Castle, Warrenpoint in County Down, requested to have all the windows and the doors of this Friary to be walled up to ensure a better safeguard for the soldiers who lived there. Of course, that was in the time of Queen Elizabeth I, and perhaps that's why this one here was walled up, because certainly that looks like a doorway, doesn't it? And Bagnall had asked for a lot of it to be walled up for more protection for the soldiers from the Irish. Now, 10 years later, the Friary was burnt by Shane O'Neill to prevent it from being turned into a military depot. And then by 1586, the building was in ruins. And so, as I say, 1586, 1600, this place was a ruin. But up until that, it was being used, even by the military. Now, one of the most prominent burials within the Friary is that of, and I'll try and pronounce her name, Coralith O'Donnell. She was the wife of Odonal ONeil, who was a king of Tyrone, and she died on the 14th of April 1353. King Odonal himself died in 1325, but she's said to be buried here in this friary. Now, I don't know even if she's still buried here, whether they've moved the body or what. I'd assume she's still buried here, but I was looking for a grave, but I can't really find any. The only thing I can find that is close enough to a grave is up here in this bank. And that pillar there is Ravenwell preserved, isn't it? That's a poor job there. That's like a drain pipe. That's probably where we got the ideas for the drain pipes. So the only thing that resembles a grave to me, and it might probably not, is these two stones here. And there's an indentation in that, so that's possibly part of the building. And the other one's this here. This looks more like a grave here, but whether it is or not, that's another matter. And whether it's the Irish chieftain's wife is another matter as well. Excuse me, so I'm not too sure. But that's the closest I've got to seeing anything that resembles a grave here. And there's a few other stones there as well. So there you go. That's your wee tour of the Franciscan Friary. And if you're looking at this friary, it's just at the mouth as you come into the domain here of the palace. So you can't miss it, like. Once you turn in there at the lights, then it's on your left hand side. And just in the background there, you can see the Church of Ireland, the Anglican Church. So thanks for watching, and God bless.